What's up, my fellow beasts? Today we're going to take a look at combos for Scarecrow, so let's just get right into it. So before we get started today, I just wanted to show you guys something that I learned after the last video that I will be incorporating into this video, and that's that you can put the list of moves that you're trying to use at the top of the screen below your health bar, and you do that by pressing pause, and you go to the move list, and you can just go to what move you need, and you hit triangle or Y for Xbox on that move, and it will put it on your tagged moves. And when you come out here, it'll show up just below your health bar. You see it right there. So that's the move we'll be needing for today, and it can chain into many different things. So I'm going to show you how to use that. Okay, before we get into the big combo and I show you how to use Beware and everything like that, I wanted to show you guys a little bit how to use Scarecrow as effectively as you can, and also for the guys who like to keep it simple and use their super move in their combos and things like that. So the first thing I want to tell you about is Scarecrow is a very up close and personal melee type of character, so he really doesn't have any zoning moves, which zoning means, you know, shooting from far away, things like that. So what you want to do with Scarecrow when you're in these types of situations and the opponent has themselves far away from you, you can use his panic port, which is down and up rapidly, and it'll teleport you behind your enemy like so. So use that to get, close the distance with your enemy as fast as possible. Beware though, because if they see you do this, they can use that to their advantage if you're not prepared and strike you while you're teleporting and stuff like that. So just be careful while you use it. The next thing you want to take mind of is Toxic Breath. Toxic Breath can be pretty useful if you want to just get a quick strike in while you're in there, and also if you want to charge your character power. You hit back, forward, and triangle, and you can hold it down if you want to make it longer. If you don't hold it down, it's just a quick jab like that. The other thing is Fear Toxin, and you just use down, back, and X, and it kind of pushes them forward if you want to get them away from you and kind of gather yourself and regain your composure and things like that. Last thing for you guys today is, I know you like to use the super meter sometimes. I know you like to use the super moves if you don't really want to use the big combos, so you can just use mind over body, which is forward, triangle, and square, and then you just use your super move to combo into it, and it looks like this. Now for the big combo. Okay, so the first thing we need to know today, beasts, is that for Scarecrow, you need to always be mindful of your character power, and that is his Interfere. So that's the circle button. And Interfere works by activating your Fear Toxin based moves, so that's anything that he has to do with his Fear Toxin. It makes your Fear Toxin stronger, and when it hits full meter, you can see it down there by hitting circle. When you do Fear Toxin based moves, it will fill the meter. So when you use the Fear Toxin moves, it will fill the meter down there, and when you get it full, it'll give you a special ability that you can use. Get it full here real quick. Show you guys this special ability. Okay, so as you can see, it's full down there. Now, as far as I can see, you don't really get any damage buffs while that's full, but before it goes out, you can hit circle again and it'll activate your special ability. And that's what it does. It stuns them, and it does around 135 to 140 damage, depending on the character you're facing and their gear, of course. Higher defense gear for higher characters and just higher natural defense will, of course, do different damage on different characters, but it's always good to know this character power because we're going to incorporate it into the move that we're using today. So you're going to use Interfere, and you're going to go right into your Beware combo, which is back, triangle, triangle, square, and I believe for Xbox it's back, YYX, and you will use it just like this. And it looks like that. He just comes in and does a stomp, and it goes right into your death spin combo. So first you're going to pop your Interfere, make sure that's active, and this is active for a pretty long time, so you don't really have to worry so much about doing it within this time span. You can see the little I'm not sure what you want to call those, wrappings, I guess, down there at the bottom on the face of Scarecrow. when they're running out of time. See right there, you can see once they come towards the face again, they are out of time. But the beauty of his power is that when it runs out of time, you can just activate it again and you can fill your meter up. So while you're close to people and you activate this ability, it will also do damage to them. So that's a good thing to know while you're using Scarecrow. When you have this ability activated, it will also do damage just for being around your opponent. So it's a good tactic just to do a little bit of damage here just by staying next to them, and it'll fill up your bar as well while you're there, so you can use your special move like that. So as I said earlier, we're going to add Death Spin to Beware. So when you do Beware, you've got to make sure that you don't activate Death Spin until you see that he's coming down with the stomping animation, because if you do it before, he may either activate it before he stomps, like right there, or he may do a different move entirely. You may end up getting the toxic wave right here that he has. And sometimes that's not what you want, and it's not necessarily a bad thing while you're battling like online or something, but it's just not the combo you're going for. So you want to make sure that you do the death spin while he's coming down with the stomp, and it looks something like this. So if you can see in the input down there, I didn't quite put in the combo, or the input you should say, for the death spin until I was coming down with my stomp. So make sure that you just do the stomp first, and while he's coming down with the stomp, then activate it, or he'll do another move. Like that. He may do something like that. And even though the way that these games work is sometimes even though you press all the buttons like that, they only register what's coming right after the last animation. It's sometimes that way, sometimes it'll pick up the whole animation and let it go and then do what your input said, but it can be weird sometimes, so just make sure that you do it when the stomp is coming down, and it'll pick it up like that. Alright, now we're going to add a meter burn to the death spin. So once you activate your interfere and you do Beware, you're going to hit the meter burn, which is R2 on the PlayStation and right trigger on the Xbox. You're going to activate that on his third strike on the death spin, because if you wait till the fourth, he won't meter burn it. You can only meter burn on the third strike at the latest. So it's going to look like this. And that's what it looks like. So you make sure to hit on the third strike, because this is what it looks like when you do the fourth. And that's 4 strikes, and he won't meter burn after the 4. So you just make sure interfere, Beware, you're dashing forward, third hit, and there you go. So now we are going to add our back heavy hit, which is Scythe Swipe, to the end of Death Spin. So make sure while you're doing Death Spin that you're dashing forward. This is where that becomes important, because they may get out of range while you're doing Death Spin and you can't hit them with the Scythe Swipe after that. So you just got to make sure that you're dashing forward and it makes them in range for your Scythe Swipe. So it looks like this. So you make sure you dash forward like that, and then you do the Scythe Swipe. Just like that. So it's going to bounce him back to you just like we did with Robin, and it's going to bounce him back to you, and right after you do that, you're going to add a jump combo to it. So right after that is going to be your Crosswipe, which is your jumping strike technique, and like I've said before, if you have a little bit of trouble with this, you can go ahead and just practice the back heavy hit and then jumping and striking. Now it's not so important which strike you use, whether it be triangle, square, or X in the air, but I have found that the cross swipe, jumping in the air and pressing triangle, does make it easier. I'm not sure what it is that really does. I think when you hit the ground, the next combo just makes it easier to do it with that, and it still does the best damage out of them. So it doesn't really matter what you choose. If another one of these are comfortable for you, whether it be jumping and pressing square, jumping and pressing X, you can do those as well, but for educational purposes, we're just going to say it's cross swipe. And all of these together look like this. So now, after all this, we're going to add mind over body, which is forward triangle square, and it looks like that. So here we go. Now after Mind Over Body, we're going to use Scythe Grab, and Scythe Grab is back, forward, square, and it looks like that. He's just going to grab him from a pretty far distance, and he'll pull him back with his scythe. But we're going to go ahead and meter burn that, and he'll pull him towards them and spit out some fear toxin into their face, and it'll look like this. And that's where our character power comes in. It really strengthens that. It enhances the power of that. So as you can see, when I meter burn that, it's around 200, and then when I add the character power, it is 242. So that added 42 to it just by pressing circle and making sure that that ability is on. So now if you add them all together, they look like this from top to bottom. And for the last part, we're going to add Fear Toxin, which is down back X, and I think it's down back A for Xbox. And so what that's going to do is lunge them forward with this, and it's also accentuated and enhanced by your character power, as you can see here. And it's going to throw them back after you've done Scythe Grab. Now, it's not going to technically show that it has added a hit to the combo, but it will show that it's added damage to the combo. And a lot of the time when you do it, and you do the Fear Toxin afterwards, even if you wait a little too long and they're not stunned anymore, a lot of people think that your combo is done, and they'll start trying to come towards you again, and they're like, oh, I'm up on my feet. So when you do that, you can catch them with this Fear Toxin, and they're really not expecting it. Very seldom have I had anyone online or in a battle like that actually block this, and even if they do, it's not really even a big deal, because right after that you can just kind of, you know, dash away or do whatever you want, because it doesn't take a lot of time to recover from this. So now the finalized version of the combo is going to look like this. So now, as you guys saw, that did about 51% damage, which is essentially half the health bar. Now, of course, you guys gotta remember, like I said earlier, different gears and different characters can affect the amount of damage that you're gonna do. So don't think that you're just gonna get 51% every time. It will depend on your Scarecrow's gear, the opponent you're facing, their gear, what their defense is, what their health is, things like that. So just keep that in mind, and know that if you're not getting up to 51% in damage, it's nothing you're doing wrong. It's probably just the gear on your character or their character. So just keep that in mind. But before we go today, I want to show you the difference between the full combo when you use Interfere and the full combo without Interfere. As you guys can see, the combo with Interfere did about 515 damage, and the one without did about 437. So that's a pretty big difference. And if you guys enjoyed this video, I'd appreciate a like. And for more content of Injustice 2 in the future, more tutorials and things like that, you can subscribe. And as always, guys, stay beastly, and I'll see you later.